Hi guys, TSM here. First and foremost, sorry about the sound. Obviously I've moved locations and I seem to have a bit of reverb which I can't get rid of at the moment, so you'll have to live with it unfortunately. We're going to crack this Rampage VXP target, and we're going to go through a look at the build as well, and what we think is coming in the raid format. Okay, I have had a look at the guide that was provided by Kexi. Okay, it's quite informative, and we were using part of that, okay, to assist with this video. Right, okay, first and foremost, I do have a fleet. Okay then, as you can see, it's here. I've made some way towards making it worthy. However, we don't know what's coming with the flagship yet, so we do know there's an awful lot of king killer that's coming up in these siege targets. With that, we're going to want high evade. What I've basically done for this one here, these are the full damage ships. I've used obviously the latest, obviously full throttle exhaust, okay, the overpowered engine and the red line switch. Those are the new items there. I've actually gone for mass movement stabilizer, okay, and I've also gone for welded barrels, and I've also gone for ballistic battery 3. As you can see, the CIC is on as well, okay, which is quite a nice item because it gives you greater damage, okay, then for building and ballistic, as well as obviously a little bit of combat speed, which is equal across all ships. Doesn't matter how many you put these on, it's even at 3% turn, 3% combat speed for each of the ships that it's fitted to, but it actually goes across, as you can see, duplicate or a cap of 5, so that is an issue. I've not got a huge amount of weapons at the moment. This one is fully fitted out, but I don't have enough to do all the ships, so the damage I'm dealing, it's going to take a little bit longer to kill some of the turrets in this target, simply because I don't have enough weapons, so bear that in mind. Armor, it's very fixed really. It's so that's the damage dealing ship, and whilst it does do quite a lot of damage, okay, and on the defensive it's already at 65% evade, which means evade is exceedingly important for this raid set. Movement, I was trying to get it faster, which you can, but when it comes to doing then a balancing for a flagship which we think might need to be totally evade, you can't get the speed to match, or more importantly, because a king killer obviously kills the most healthy ship first, you can't get the weight up of the flagship so that actually it gets targeted, because these weapons are exceptionally heavy. Okay, so you cannot get the weight up. I have managed it. Okay, so what I will have a little look at is if I load a ship quickly. Don't worry about the build time. This is the one I've looked at. It's clearly less damaging, and it's also got different armors on, but then again, by the time this thing gets up to U3/X1, the armors don't really help a huge amount. Okay, what is quite helpful is, look, I'm up to 80.9%. okay, so 81% basically evade, then plus obviously any evade that I put on with a obviously evade crew, and if you're in alliance, any alliance bonus on top of that as well. Movement is managed to get to the same then, so 118 on the combat speed. Bear in mind the CICs add. To keep this above the weight of the other one, you've noticed actually I've had to go down, okay then, so I won't get the full bonus of 5 ships with the CIC. I've gone for the previous tier 11 one because it's actually heavier by another 10,000 tons. Okay, so I've had to do that. If I didn't do that, I'd be under the weight and this flagship wouldn't be targeted first. To get myself to that position then, okay, I've had to go to mass movement stabilizer, okay, and I've gone for the same engine, the overpowered engine as well. I've gone for guidance scrambler 3, and I've also gone for the ballistic battery 2, welded barrels again to get the ranges correct so they stack, and then I've also gone for the insulated charging capacitor. Now the reason I've only gone for that is nothing to do with the radioactive, obviously, because we're not talking about ballistic weapons here. It's simply because it's the only thing I find that could have the weapon weight at 40%, but also the combat speed at 30% as well. So that was quite difficult. If you wish to go for a high evade flagship, we don't know. We haven't seen the flagship yet. It may be a heavier hull, okay, as a raw hull. But that's what I've had to do basically. So if anybody can make that any better, then please put a comment down below. But that's the only way I could get the speeds to match and keep this thing over above the weight of the full damage ships. Anyway, for now then, yes, I have a fleet. Okay, I have to have this on Creeping Death, which is more building damage, simply because I've only got like 4 or 5 weapons on some of these ships. so they're taking too long to kill the turrets. Clearly I'd like to go and evade crew, but I can't. So those are the limitations I'm stuck with at the moment. I don't have any more weapons to add. Everything at the moment I have sneaked ahead just to help us out with this video and help you as well. These are all at U2 because you do get a benefit from evade as well at U2. You get an extra 10%. Let's see if we can find a level 50 if it's a full one. Okay, so this is the VXP target. We'll look at how to do the VXP first. Okay, so Bakura's Invasion, okay, is what it's called. And okay, so here we are inside the target. Okay, unfortunately it's one of those pop-up targets, so everything that's friendly that does us a benefit of some description is already up, but most items, as you can see, in fact all the items that are actually damage dealing to us aren't there yet. They pop up as you proceed through the target, so I can't do an overall picture right at the start to show you everything. You'll see straight away then this little turret here, okay, then pops up. It's a Gatling gun, okay, then Scourge Gatling gun they call it. It's short range. And whilst I've got my range extenders on, you don't actually need to. You can actually go in with this with no weapons on whatsoever, because the built-in heavy weapon, look, does the damage for you. Okay, so you don't even need the white lines of the weapons, okay, but you don't actually need those. I'll put a little clip up of how much, I had 4 ships then, and I'll show you a clip of basically how much VXP I got just for killing that one single turret in exiting. It was quite a lot, obviously, with a blue salty crew. Anyway, well, let's progress forward. So next thing we've got then, we've got some targets that pop up over here and a large cannon. So here we go. That's the first ones we've got to worry about then. So these ones here then, these are the Scourge launchers, okay, and they are basically medium health, medium damage, and they do radioactive damage. And then right behind that is the heavy railgun. The heavy railgun, which is, it's got high health, high damage, and it's ballistic, okay? But it's directional. You can see it here. And it also has a time delay as well to fire. These have the inner ring, so there's nothing else that's actually in our area at the moment. So what I can do is target one, look at the other one, look at the overlap, and then we can go straight to the center. So that's it for the moment. That's those two there. We can't actually range this one from this angle here. We've got to go into, unfortunately, its zone, which is not ideal, but I have tried previously, so we can't get to it. Now, be cautious of this one in behind, okay? And so if I highlight this one in behind then, which is obviously the Scourge cannon, okay, and there's another one here. And you see there's a little gap here, look, so you can get into there then. And there's another one here, which is obviously the, what do they call that one there? The biathal cannon, isn't it? Scourge biathal cannon. Okay, and then there's obviously the Gatling gun. The Gatling gun's got a very small range, okay? The biathal's quite a large range. We already know about this one here. So we're going to basically shoot for this little gap here. And basically, we're just going to wait now and take out everything that's in close to us. Watch, we're going to hit our own reservoir then. That turns some damage. Now we're going to try and take out this target here. We will get it, but we're going to take a little bit of damage doing so. So there we go. Just one shot. If you can scoot around and get out by the time that lands and does that fire effect on the water, then you shouldn't be doing too bad. We can get the rest of them then with a long-range built-in weapon. 8 seconds, remember the reload, so just be cautious. There we go. And now we're going to go and take this long-range weapon out. Just watch these two here, okay? In fact, what we'll do, I think, is we'll grab these first and watch the time count on that one there. So yeah, again, look at the rings. There's a gap here, so we're going to go straight in. Hopefully he'll fire behind us, which he did, I believe. Just watch the reload on this one. Okay, he's going to fire in a minute, so I'm moving. Bear in mind, it's an 8-second reload. For my own weapon, that is. So I'm going to wait for him to fire. I'm moving forward then, so I'm out of his zone. And there we go. So one shot, look, from those 4 built-in heavy weapons then does a good amount of damage. It's nearly half dead. There's no rush because obviously it takes 8 seconds to reload. I'm in the fire zone, moving forward. It's quite slow. So you can outpace it. There's the second one. Can we get away with a third shot? I don't think we will. So let's move. We'll turn back and we'll head south again. And there he's dead. Okay, so there's a turret we haven't seen before in this target. Okay, it's just popped up. This is the adder thrower. It's obviously medium health, medium damage, and it's radioactive as a splash-based weapon. But if you take a look then, particularly there and then you can see that actually, even if you haven't got the range extender on it, you can actually nip in on the sides and take these out. You can either use the longer range weapon, the built-in one, the railgun, or you can get up closer look. Bear in mind, I'm missing quite a few weapons. Here's another one of these. We should be able to just nip in and nip back out again and fire at it, hopefully. I'm going to take it off of select just so that I know when it's going towards me. I'm not quite close enough, but you can just about get in there. There you go. I'll take it off select again. There's 2. And 3. Okay, so that's dead. So next thing we've got again 2 more of these directional turrets, the adders again, and we can skim round. And if you've got the short range, you haven't got range extenders on yet, you can nip through and you shouldn't take any damage. Okay, we're getting there. So there's obviously a ballistic cannon. Okay, and there is another one of the throwers. Okay, then Biathol there, and a Gatling gun. So there's a gap, and there's a gap, which is about here. There's a long range one over here, so just be careful. So let's highlight this one. That looks like a gap around about here. There's the gap, it's still about there. And there's a gap now, it's even smaller. So I might need to sit around about here. I'm going to take a little bit of damage going in, but then I should be okay. Just inside the range, look. So now what I need to do then, obviously, is try and get this turret out of the way. This is a short range turret, this is a short range turret, but obviously there's a long range, obviously the railgun's there as well. So bear in mind that I need to try and get this one. So I'm targeting this one there. I'm going to try and drive by these ones here and not take any damage. Okay, so that's that one done. Okay, so that one's out the way. What I'm going to try and do now then is get this Gatling gun out the way, and probably that one there. And if I can't do that, I'll just go around in a big arc. There we go, not too bad. Now we should be able to nip through and get out the way of the arc, hopefully, of this weapon here. And you notice then if I'm using these fuel reservoirs, then we can blow up, obviously, that railgun, and it keeps us well out of the way. So we're nearly finished then. Directional there and another directional there. Okay, so those are both adders, and then there's one that's in a circle. So just looking for the gap, basically. There it is there. I want to sit about here. If I sit about there, yeah, that's the place to be. So let's go in and come down and just pause. Okay, that's target complete. Okay, so there you go. That's the VXP target. Let's have a little look at the damage then. So according to that then, 2% radioactive and 2% taken on ballistic as well. Okay, yes, quite a lot of evade, then ballistic at 19%, you know, and 90%. So it's all pretty even, isn't it? It's probably around about half hour's damage. Bear in mind, it did take me longer to kill some of the items. Yeah, there we go. So just over. So there's about 1 coin fix. It's not ideal. Like I said, I think if we use an evade crew, we'll get that down, and maybe even using, you know, a slightly different crew if I had more weapons, steelheads maybe. We might be able to get this down, particularly for a U3. Bear in mind they're only U2, but U3 does make a difference. And they might be able to get that down to you know, instant fixing the dock, but definitely not at the moment. So there we go. Okay, so I hope that helps. And yeah, comments below if you can do anything else about that evade ship for the flag. But don't build it yet, just in case that the flagship is a heavier ship. And we don't need to worry about too much about adding extra plates, etc., etc., and a different sort of like heavy CIC to balance the weight out. So just pause on that. Anyway, hope it helps. TSM out.